hear directly from candidates, ask meaningful questions, and participate in a transparent, democratic process. I extend my sincere appreciation to the candidates for their willingness to serve and for stepping forward to share their vision for our schools. Your commitment to public education is commendable. I also thank the community members in attendance. Your presence affirms the importance of civic participation and reinforces the belief that strong schools are built through informed and engaged communities. Finally, I acknowledge the Education Committee for their thoughtful planning and dedication in organizing this forum with fairness, structure, and respect for all involved. Tonight is about listening, learning, and strengthening the bond between our schools and our community. We encourage all participants to engage respectfully and thoughtfully as we move forward with the forum. Thank you once again for being here this evening and for your continued investment in the future of our students and our community.
Thank you so much, Madam President. I appreciate it. And good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Jacob Dixon. I serve as the Education Chair for the Freeport-Roosevelt NAACP. And on behalf of all of us, thank you so much for being a part of tonight's conversation. We are live on YouTube as well. Please give us shortly, as we are a small team tonight that is mighty to get all those things up. So as that is happening, we do want to share some quick visioning around why we are here today and why this works matters. And we want to make sure that all of those pieces are at play. So we're going to share a quick slide in order to have that clear in order to make that happen. So as you give me one quick second, folks, we're going to have that up for you all. And I appreciate your grace in order to get that in. And so as part of our statewide education vision, as a nonpartisan organization, our ultimate goal is to make sure that every child, including children of color, receive quality public education that prepares him, her, they to be contributing members of a democracy. And as that's part of our state charge, we are here today in order to make that happen. And here we are as part of our Freeport Public Schools Candidates Forum. As you all know, there are 3 seats that are available, 2 Board of Education seats that will start from July 1st to June 30th. In connection with this vote on May 19th, and 1 with an unexpired term starting from May 19th to June 30th, 2028. And so with that said, we are incredibly excited to be able to have our folks here who have committed to be a part of this process. As we shared, this is a nonpartisan purpose where our forum is really about voter engagement and civic engagement as well, where we do not endorse any candidates in the forum. We have all agreed to continue to expand with respect to civility, keeping the conversation student-centered and district-wide, and also being conscious of time. And we are truly, truly grateful to be able to have our confirmed candidates who are here tonight. I'm going to share in alphabetical order. So if all of the candidates can just wave in the camera as part of it. Gabriela Castillo is here. Thank you for joining us. Eddie Gordon is also here this evening. In addition to that, we have Marie Honche. Thank you so much for being here as part of the conversation. Scott Richardson, thank you, sir, for joining us. And Dr. Dina Skeffrey, thank you so much for being a part of today. And each of your willingness to be able to participate and your commitment to go. As the moderator for tonight, I do want to be able to be a part of that conversation as well. We are going to go through a series of questions, but before we do that, we also want to thank one of our members of our youth division who is part of here today. They'll be asking our first question shortly. Reagan Ward, thank you so much for joining us today. We greatly appreciate you being a part. Okay, as I get my notes together, candidates, are we good?
Yes.
Awesome. Right, fantastic. So just to give everyone a view of what we're going to be doing this evening, this is really going to be a conversation with each of the candidates to learn about their thoughts, their voices, their opinions, their perspectives as potential school board members. And as part of that conversation, we want to make sure that we're able to maintain a format that makes sense. And because there's 5 of you on this screen, and we got some time crunch to get through. We won't be able to get through all of the questions, but our goal this evening is to be able to first have some clear questions that everyone will be required to answer, and that will be structured around leadership and governance, and budget priorities, which is key. Then afterwards, we're going to go through some rotating questions where each of the candidates will be able to share specific thought processes around some elements of the board positions, and that will all be done after a candidate opening forum that every statement will be shared up to 2 minutes. And then after we get through those questions, we will then end with closing thoughts after some Q&A. So that's the format for today. All right. And so what we'll do first is that we're going to have opening statements that will be shared with each of you. We're going to go in alphabetical order so that we'll have that through. And I think first up is Gabriela Castillo.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you so much to the Freeport NAACP for having me. My name is Gabriela Castillo. Everybody calls me. I am your neighbor. I like to call myself a fellow Freeport kid. I was raised here in Freeport. I am a product of Freeport schools, graduated from Freeport High School. And now I am a parent here in the district. I have two amazing young ladies who are here students in the district, who have been with the district since their start at Columbus. But my roots, did not start here. I am also a proud immigrant. I was born in El Salvador. I was brought here at a very young age. And I think those lived experiences for me have also shaped my view of the world. I think have given me, an idea of experiences that many of our current students are also living through. And overall, I am a fierce defender and advocate of public education. I, have, like I said, have children in the district. And that alone, for me, gives me skin in the game. Every decision impacts not just my children, but the thousands of students that we have in our district. In my professional capacity, I am an attorney. I have worked in a variety of legal settings throughout my career. I started out in the nonprofit legal setting. I started down south in North Carolina, where I defended many families facing uphill battles, fighting fraud, a lack of benefits that we helped obtain. I then switched gears and went to work representing survivors of domestic violence, human trafficking, many children in the immigration court system. Back home to Long Island and continued doing that work. And once again, switched gears to community organizing when I felt that I needed to further fight systems that I felt were inadequately addressing or not addressing the needs of many of our community members. And I did so by directing the Long Island Civic Engagement Table, where we focused on a lot of voter engagement, voter protection, know your rights. And then after that is where I began my career in government, where I currently am as a senior legal counsel to the minority caucus of the Nassau County Legislature, where I now get to work on drafting policy, research, and drafting legislation, and getting to advise elected officials as well. So thank you again for having me.
Thank you so much, Gabriela. Greatly appreciated. Our next up for opening statements is going to be Eddie Gordon. So after you, sir.
First and foremost, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm honored and privileged to be a part of this platform to share our message. My name is Eddie Gordon. I am one of your own. I'm a Freeport guy. Love Freeport with all my heart, all my passion. I graduated from Freeport High School, National Honor Society, was able to obtain a football scholarship to play Division I football at Fordham University. My siblings graduated Freeport, my brother, my sister. I have 6 boys. 3 of my boys already graduated from Freeport. 2 attained football scholarships at Wagner College, 1 as well as in Western New England. And I have 3 more boys that are going to be going through the school. So I'm very, very passionate as a homeowner, as a parent. And I also coached in Freeport for 5+ years. I continue to do not-for-profit work through my foundation, the Eddie Gordon Foundation. I worked in finance as well as marketing, and I moved on to be a professional athlete, chasing my passion. And that's what brought me back to coaching the young kids of Freeport, because I want them to say and see somebody that came from their roots that can achieve success, both on the athletic field, but more importantly, in the world. And that's very, very important. I also love to show these kids that, you're human, I'm human, and anything you want to achieve in this world, you have to work for it. And that's what got me here today is the kids. I'm a true, true believer that everything should function around them receiving a worldly education and having resources and people that they could communicate and connect with. And I'm extremely, extremely passionate about Freeport. Freeport is my home. I moved here from Jamaica, so I'm an immigrant as well as Gabby. Came here when I was 3 years old, and Freeport's been my home ever since. I'm 40 plus years old now, and the love and passion for Freeport just continues to grow. I continue to coach these kids and mentor these children because I want them to know that there's somebody always in their corner, and that someone is me because, again, I'm super passionate about Freeport kids, the parents, the teachers, as well as the community. So again, thank you guys so much for presenting this platform so that we can speak and reach the community and, more importantly, better the community.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Mr. Gordon. I appreciate it. Ms. Honche, after you. You will be next. Oh, Ms. Marie, you might have to put yourself on with mute.
Good evening, everyone. Bonsoir tout le monde. My name is Marie Carmel Hoanchi. Of course, I've been living in Freeport for 40 years. I graduated, 5 children graduated from Freeport High School throughout the whole Freeport system. I have one grand that also graduated from Freeport High School. And right now I have one grandson in middle school. He kind of looked bigger than his age. So people are kind of like, what is he doing in middle school? Well, he's in middle school. Basically, so far as my love for Freeport, I've been in Freeport, like I said, for 40 years. However, one thing that I would say, I do live by the nautical mile. I've had several floods. I was devastated by Hurricane Sandy. I had lost everything. I rebuilt. However, some people did not rebuild. They left Freeport and never came back. But I came back to Freeport. Freeport is my heart, and I think that was one of the best places to raise children in Freeport. Of course, everybody said they are immigrant. I'm an immigrant also. I was born in Wanamente. And in Wanamente, due to the regime of Papa Doc in Haiti, my parents moved. I had lived in Paris, France. I lived there. And before I could turn 18, I came to the United States because if I had stayed in France, I would have had to serve mandatory military, and that's mandatory in European country, whether you're male or female. Once you turn 18, you have to give your, you have to go serve the military. However, it's funny that now, I came to the United States, I still joined the military. I've been in the military for 20 years, United States, the military, Army, 344th Combat Support Hospital. I reached a very high level in the military as a nurse, also in civilian life, also a nurse in the military. Beside doing nursing, especially mental health, because a lot of the soldiers coming back from Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, Desert Storm, all of them have some particular issues. I did work at Walter Reed with the Desert Storm Syndrome veterans, and I'm very involved with the American Legion. As a matter of fact, I am the chaplain for the American Legion, William Clinton Post Station near the Nautical Mile. I'm very involved with them and work very hard with the veterans. Also, one of the key things so far is like with children, of course, I do a lot of mission work. I've been to El Salvador, I've been to Colombia, a lot of Latino American countries. I've been to out of Africa, and also Haiti and DR doing mission work. I mean, taking care of the children, people who basically don't have the funds to take care of their needs, so that we get donated things to take care of them. I'm on the mayor's basically advisory committee. I'm in charge with a group of preparing for the Memorial Day Parade, also the Veterans Parade. We give 2 scholarships to anyone who wants to go into the military. I'm involved with the JRTC program, and we do provide 2 scholarships. So I'm very involved in Freeport, and with my son, my grandson being involved in the sports. So I do travel a lot, to the different places, just following him, and the kids are very involved.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Wanche. Appreciate it. Next up, we're going to have Mr. Richardson after you, sir.
Good evening, sir. How are you? Thank you for hosting this forum tonight, you and the NAACP. I appreciate you guys hosting this forum. I'm a lifelong resident for 55 years. I attended the Freeport Public School System. I have three children who actually graduated from the Freeport school system. And I have a granddaughter who currently is a student in the Freeport school system. I have 30 plus years of supporting youth in this community as a whole. I'm a co-founder and president of a local 501c3 youth organization in Freeport. I'm a proven leader in in education and public service in this community. I'm employed by the Incorporated Village of Freeport for 23 years. I have also been uh, in the capacity of an oiler technician in the electric department. And I've also worked at the Public Works Department. And I was the first Black superintendent in the village history for the Department of Public Works. With that being said, I am an advocate for students, families, community, and overall everyone that needs to be advocated for. I've always been an advocate. I've always stood up for those that needed a voice, and I will continue to do so. I have always put myself on the front lines for those in my community, from PAL to Little League, to the Freeport Red Ravens, who I said I'm the president of. We've put over 300 kids in college and counting. Our most recent class is this year's 2026 class of students. And I am here to make sure that I continue to be that person who will put himself on the front lines for my community and for the students in this community and the parents and the staff, as well as the families that's necessary to receive that type of support and advocacy. It's important that we put every student first before anything and everything. It is important that we continue to lead together and work together as a community so that we can make sure that everyone is heard and everyone is represented. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Richardson. I appreciate it. And last but certainly not least, Dr. Dina Skiffery.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm here because of the advocacy and the leadership of the NAACP. My name is Dr. Dina Skeffrey, and I'm proud to say that I'm a product of Freeport schools, and I'm also the parent of a Freeport school student. Freeport didn't just educate me, it shaped me, it challenged me, and prepared me to be a leader. It brought my lived experience and just my academic experience to this role and each role. I hold an MBA, a postmaster's in global financial engineering, a PhD in curriculum instruction and science of learning, excuse me, with a concentration in equity and justice. Beyond the degrees, I'm bringing 25 years as an educator and also a leader. I closely work with students. I serve as a professor at NYU, and I'm striving for our students to get the education and to get what they need right here in Freeport. Leadership has always been the root of where I am, the person of who I am, the part of who I am. As early as elementary school, I served as a peer educator with the American Red Cross, among other leadership groups. In high school, I founded the first AIDS awareness group and successfully secured funding for it before graduating. That experience taught me how to turn my vision into action and actually advocate for meaningful change. I understand firsthand what our students need to succeed. It's not just about academics, it's about socialization, and it's also about emotional access. I understand the intersection of education and corporate America and what it truly takes to prepare our children to compete and thrive in today's world and in this climate that we're in. I'm deeply committed to my community. Freeport invested in me, and it's my responsibility now to invest in Freeport. I can't do this alone, so I was appointed on the school board in 2025. And now I want to be elected. I want to be your voice. I'm asking for your vote so that together, as a community, we can raise that bar for our children. We can ensure that our students receive an equitable, high quality education and empower parents with a clear understanding of the role of the trustee. And most importantly, return to the idea of a village. One grounded in empathy, one grounded in belonging, one grounded in accountability, and more importantly, excellence. Our children deserve to be in a competitive, high achieving district. And I'm definitely ready to do this. I'm ready to make this a reality.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Skeffrey. We greatly
You're welcome.
appreciate it. And look, we already got a range of amazing folks with different ideas, topics, experiences that are all disciplinary and count. So we look forward to hearing your voices more through the next phase of our candidate forum, which is now going to be connected on core questions. Each of you will get the same question for this time. We'll be doing two key questions, one that will be focusing on leadership and governance, and the other that will be focusing on budget and priorities. And so for the first question, we're going to have our youth division person that we have here today. Reagan going to do a brief introduction of who she is and where she comes from, followed by the question, and she'll read that out loud for all of you. And then we'll go each of you one by one. As a reminder, you will hear a sound at the end of the timer that's in there, and it is for 90 seconds. So we just ask you to be mindful of that when you frame in your questions, okay? So Reagan, after you.
Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Reagan Ward, and I serve as the NAACP New York State Youth and College Chair for Health and Wellbeing. I've been a part of the Freeport-Roosevelt Youth Council for the past 3 years, and I'm an advocate for leadership and governance. Leadership stability has been connected to student success. What would you do as a board member to ensure the superintendent develops systems that support the district community, staff, and students?
Thank you so much, Reagan. So again, this is focusing on leadership stability, has been connected to student success. What would you do as a board member to ensure that the superintendent develops systems that are in place that supports the district, community, staff, and students? So it's a 90-second timer that we'll be starting off with, and we will go again in alphabetical order. So we'll start with you, Gabriella.
Sure. Thank you. So I think in order to have any conversation, right, on long-term and sustainable planning, we also have to ensure that we first have a permanent and stable leader. We need a permanent superintendent. That's first of all. And I think that, look, whether you're talking about private, public sector, school organizations, et cetera, anytime that we see high levels of turnover, it disrupts, right, any long-term plans. It brings chaos with it. And in that process, we also lose so much institutional knowledge and experience each time that happens. So that will never be something that is going to positively impact our student body, our district, staff morale, et cetera. As a board member, our number one responsibility, and as a former board member, I know this, is it's to oversee the superintendent. It is to, it involves setting the tone and overall policy and vision for our school community, and following recommendations of such a superintendent. The one thing that a board, I think, needs to do is to lay out clearly the roles of a board and of the superintendent. This will allow a superintendent to do and fulfill their day-to-day duties in order to lead the district. I think that in addition to that, a board needs to also help, particularly in Freeport right now, an infrastructure of leadership and expertise alongside that superintendent. And I don't believe it currently exists in the form of a cabinet. A cabinet is what helps execute that policy and vision, and to lay out the work, the vision that the board lays out to help in the day-to-day management of the district. I think that we need to provide leadership development and to build capacity for superintendents and for leadership in a district, regardless of how many years a superintendent has in the district.
I appreciate it. I know what the time to get through. It's all right. We're going to do, we'll add an extra 10 seconds for everyone to be accommodating of it. So no, we appreciate you, Gabby, in terms of that. Next up, Eddie Gordon, after you. I'm sorry, sir, you are on mute. We can't hear your voice on that one yet.
Awesome. Here we go. I'm back.
You're good.
But first and foremost, being a leader is very, very important. Leadership starts with consistency, accountability, and communication. Being a leader throughout my whole entire life and everything I do, I know that I'll bring that to the board as well with my team. My role is not to micromanage the superintendent. I feel like the superintendent has to have an ability to lead. It's also to make sure that there are systems in place. We need systems that's going to outlast any person. We need clear goals. I'm a big believer in having measurable results so that we can look back at where we are and where we're going. And also transparency. Transparency is very very huge to me. As a parent, as a coach, as a mentor, I believe that we need to have transparency with the community every single step of the way. I want parents, I want the teachers, staff, students to feel heard, respected, and informed. I know for a fact that with the proper team and the proper board, we're going to build everything off the trust. With leadership, it's got to be visible, it's got to be honest, and I believe that that's also a mix of financial responsibility. So with leadership comes great responsibility, and we're responsible for Freeport, the place that I love.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Gordon. We're going to pass it over to Ms. Hawanche. Same question.
All right. Leadership. Well, leadership is very important to me, and I have a lot of experience in leadership. I've led hospitals, nursing home, and I've led the military. As a leader, you have to be conscious and very aware of your role, what you could do and what you could not do. But it's very important. You have to be strong, because sometimes you have some people who will oppose some of the decisions that you have made. So being a strong leader is very important. You have to be consistent, transparent, and have accountability for yourself and your fellow staff. As a board member, I would support the superintendent. I know currently we have an interim superintendent, so we don't have a permanent superintendent as of now. But I would like to work whoever gets to be permanent in that position for long term, strengthening that we are student center, suitable beyond any one administration. And I believe it is clear communication. Communication is very important between families, collaborate the goals that you have, be very open to students, their issues that they have, but just work together as a team. I believe in teamwork. When you work together with people, we have the same understanding, we have the same goal, things will run a little bit smoother. I know there's certain issues that we have in Freeport, but I feel coming to the team with my experience, leading the military troops to battle, taking care of patients in the nursing home, the hospitals, that's a leader. Being administrative, day-to-day, on-call 24/7. So leadership is very important to me, and I feel that together working with those who are in charge, we'll be able to make a better Freeport school.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Hawanche. Same question, Mr. Richardson, in terms of providing leadership service, and what does that look like as a board member? So after you.
As a current board member and seeking re-election as a board member, as a trustee, I believe students do best when there's consistency, stability, and leadership as a board member. My job is to help make sure superintendent has strong systems in place that continue to work well for students, staff, and families over the course of time. That starts with good communication, teamwork. I want to make sure that the district is listening to the teachers, parents, staff, and community. So people feel informed and involved as a whole in the process of what we're doing to make sure our students have what they need. I also believe we need to support and retain great teachers and staff by creating a positive work environment and giving them tools and support they need to be successful and to succeed. Financial responsibility is another important part of stability. I will continue to support careful budgeting and long-term planning so that the district can meet today's needs while preparing for the future. Most importantly, every decision should come back to what is best for the students.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. I'm sorry to get involved there, but we got the 90 seconds to get through. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you. And then the last, but certainly not least, Dr. Skiffrey.
Jeffrey, yes. Leadership stability. Hey, it's okay. Leadership stability. It's has to be constructed on foundation, and that foundation is about clarity. It's about accountability. As a board member, my role is to manage, is not to manage, to be very clear, the superintendent, but to govern effectively so the superintendent can lead strategically. I'm going to ensure, especially based on my background, that clear goals, measurable outcomes, and consistent evaluation structures are in place that have to align. They must align with the student's success. While we have sustainable systems in place, we can't be reactive to planning, but there has to be a strong curriculum in place where there's data-driven decision-making and continuity across all forms of leadership. More importantly, I want to ensure that the superintendent is supportive. It's about teamwork. But she also has to be held accountable to delivering results because it's centered around the students, it's centered around staff, and also community. Stability is the structure, and stability comes from.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nina. Appreciate it. So what we're going to do for this next round for questions on this, just for the interest of time and making sure it's there, we're going to talk a bit about budget and district priorities. So we're going to make this a minute. And what we want to be able to ask you is, what is your current position in regards to the school budget? And instead of saying multiple priorities, what is one key priority that you believe that will guide your decision making as a trustee when reviewing district spending? So instead of going through multiple, if you could pick one main frame, what would that look like? All right, and we're gonna go backwards this time, so give a little break for Gabriella to go first. So Dr. Skiffrey, you're gonna go first to be able to share that out.
Absolutely. So the budget is a reflection of our values. So if we say that students come first, then our spending has got to reflect that. My approach is grounded in alignment and sustainability. Every dollar should connect to student outcomes, their academic achievement, their social emotional development, and long-term readiness. The question that I always propose is, how does this investment move our student forward? That's the key. We have to look at the student investments. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Skiffrey. So next up is going to be it will be Mr. Richardson. So after you, sir.
Yes, sir. I feel that budgeting responsibly is very important to make sure the students, the staff, and the district has all of the things that's necessary for it to function properly. And that starts with us making sure that we oversee and study and see where money should be and has to be in order for us to achieve those goals. In addition to that, we have to make sure that we eliminate unnecessary spending in a lot of ways and make sure that the budget fits all the criteria to make sure that we don't have over expenditures of things that we don't need, and make sure that we have the monies in place to make sure that the students' needs are always first, and then make sure that we have the proper staff and they get paid um, uh, 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 a sensible and proper rate, while making sure that we handle all of the expenses on a day-to-day basis for our budget to make sure that we don't exceed or go into the red ever. So that comes with capital projects, that comes with staffing. I'm sorry.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, we're going to pass that over to Ms. Hawanchi. You are next.
Okay. Well, when we say budget, to me, the first thing I look is the deficit. We are out of deficit because there's money be taken out from a public school system to go into charter school. So right now, I think the main issue is that we have to focus that we get the monies to come in for public school, because public school is our strength right now. So basically, the government's trying to get these vouchers to go to public school. As a taxpayer, my money should be going to funding public school. One of the things I want to say regarding the budget, there's a need for students to basically remain responsible for some of the monies that we have right now in the school system, because as a taxpayer, you are paying for what's going on in the school. So therefore, they need the supply, they need teachers. Right now, when you look at the school system, you have maybe one counselor for 200 students, or maybe you don't have enough teachers. The classroom are overcrowded. So there's a need to have basically staff who care, when you interview them. And so therefore, you have to look at the money that's being sent and get the students ready, prepared to go to college and to improve their results. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Sorry to cut you off. We want to make sure, for the interest of time, we get through Mr. Gordon after you. Same question in regards to budget. What is your position of it, and the key priority that you'll look at when reviewing the budget itself?
First and foremost, I support a school budget that prioritizes the students, protects taxpayers, operates with full transparency. The community deserves to know exactly where money is going and why. I believe we need to take a harder look at the overspending outside consultants and expenses that don't directly impact student success. Our priority should be academics, student support. Also, we need to prioritize support services. School safety is very huge, extracurricular activities and opportunities, and giving teachers the tools they need to succeed. Financial responsibility is huge. It's not about cutting corners. It's about making smarter decisions so every single dollar works for our children, because that's what's most important.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gordon. And rounds us out with this question around budgets in terms of position and priorities. Gabriella, after you. Oh, and you're on mute, so make sure we get your voice in. No worries.
Thank
There we
you.
go. No worries.
As a past board member, a parent, and someone that cares deeply about this district, I am in support of the school budget. I will be voting for the school budget. I'm always going to be in support of expenditures that will, keep the operations of our district moving. And I know, and I support it because I also know that working under a failed or a contingency budget will only hurt our students. No one else. It will hurt our students, our staff, right, in the running of the district day to day. However, I do have concerns over some key pieces of this budget. And for example, something that, just to point out in the interest of time, we are looking at overspending in budget lines that historically we have not seen those amounts. One thing is the Board of Education line. We don't get paid, we don't get a salary, we don't get benefits. In past years, we have seen that line be under $100,000. This year, we're looking at it getting close to $300,000. So that is of concern, including the expenses of legal fees, because we're opening the door to litigation, et cetera, with the amount of grievances that are being filed and other lawsuits we're facing. As board members, we are fiduciaries of the district, which means that we have legal and ethical obligation to act in the best interest of the district. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gabby, in terms of doing that. We're going to rotate now to the next section of our forum. Great job, everyone, in getting those questions and those answers in, especially within the time frame. We appreciate that. Our next section is going to be some rotating questions. So because we have 5 of you on here, each of you had randomly selected a specific topic in advance for you to be a part of that you'll be able to connect with. And as part of that conversation, or if you came in before time period, we have what was left over for you. And within each of those questions, we'll ask you to take up to 1 minute and 30 seconds to respond to that question that is focused on different domains in regards to school board and their work that needs to be done. So first, we're going to start off with Mr. Gordon. I want to talk about vision and innovation specifically. One of the things that we need to talk about is what are 1 or 2 innovative approaches or new ideas that you would propose to help strengthen student achievement, opportunity, and success in Freeport. If you can start with 1 and carry that through, because it's 1 minute and 30 seconds, we'll be mindful of that. But again, 1 or 2 innovative approaches that you believe are new ideas to help strengthen student achievement. So your time starts now, sir. Oh, and you're on mute as well, so sorry. I appreciate you being respectful. There you go.
One thing I would love to see is stronger career readiness programs that prepare students for real life after graduation. Being in finance, I feel like we need to focus on things that are not just strict to the school, but also for life, whether that's college, trades, entrepreneurship. I'm an entrepreneur, I own multiple businesses, or athletics, which I participated in. Every child's path is different, and our district should support all of them. I want to build like a stronger partnership with local businesses like myself, community leaders like myself, so students can gain mentorships, because I've done mentorships and I've seen great results from it. Internships, which I was a part of, and hands-on opportunities. Innovative doesn't always mean spending more money. You don't have to. Sometimes it means using our resources smarter and creating opportunities that truly change lives. And I've been a part of that. I'm a product of that through Freeport. So I want to see that instilled into our community, because it only helps our children.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Gordon. I appreciate you being able to follow up on that. Next up, we're going to have Gabby speak about school climate is the topic that we have here. Are you familiar with DASA, which is the Dignities for All Students Act? And more importantly, what would you do as part of your capacity to ensure that the district upholds DASA in an effort to promote not just safe and inclusive, but respectful school environments?
Sure. Thank you. So I think in order to properly uphold DASA, we have to properly uphold the provisions, right, around DASA. And one of those key provisions is naming a DASA coordinator in each district. I think that one thing that we have the ability to do is to strengthen and properly train these positions. Oftentimes we see, just a name, but we're not empowering these specific positions to be able to be properly developed in terms of their leadership, to be able to properly train our entire staff. This means instructional and non-instructional staff, because every person in our school community that interacts with our students needs to understand the key provisions of DASA and how, they have to oblige by them, right? So I think that properly training them to train the staff is, I think, key in being able to enforce it, being able to train them to properly investigate and address matters that fall under DASA is also critical. It also lays out, I think under DASA, we have to lay out clear district policies. We have to properly collect data and be able to properly analyze it in order to identify any gaps and deficiencies. And more importantly, we have to be able to have a clear protocol of addressing incidents that occur under DASA, because I think it also sets a precedent, right, in our district that whenever we identify these matters, we are addressing them. There is a finality to them. There's a clear investigation. There are proper protocols in place, because that also allows the district to understand that we take it seriously. We have to provide information to our families that they have every right to file complaints, et cetera, under this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gabby. Appreciate you saying that. Next up, I want to be able to talk to Dr. Dina in regards to restorative practices and really looking at the ways that we look at discipline in our conversation. So what is your commitment if elected back into the board to ensuring that as a team, as a board, you're able to enact policies that really support restorative practices, reduce unnecessary suspensions that we have seen at times happen within our communities, and ultimately strengthen student support systems?
Yeah, well, once elected, for the first time being elected, I definitely believe in that discipline should never remove students from opportunities. Never. It should redirect them. Something in education we call scaffolding. It's a defined series of consequences, but restorative practices has to hold students accountable while also addressing the root of the problem, the core root of the behavior. That means when we have to invest in counseling and support systems and interventions, not just suspensions. We need a balance, and a balance that includes high expectations with strong support. When this is done correctly, restorative practices can actually improve outcomes for students and the overall climate for the school. So once again, it's just redirecting. That's all we really need to do. Redirect to actually encourage growth. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dina. Appreciate you in terms of doing that. Mr. Richardson, I want to be able to get to you in terms of district reflections and priorities is a key question that I wanted to ask you on, and really focusing on what is one decision that the district has made that has had you applaud, and what is one change you would like to see made by the district? Oh, you gotta put yourself off of mute as well. Y'all are so respectful. Putting yourself off of there. There we go.
I apologize. I sincerely apologize.
It's okay.
The one thing that I applaud, and I sincerely applaud, is that we lessen the district's distance of living for us to add more bus routes for students to be able to receive bus transportation to school. Because we have some children walking as far as Colonial Avenue on Babylon Turnpike to Dodd Middle School. We have some students walking as far as from that distance as well to Atkinson School. So we did create and lessen the distance of being eligible for bus transportation for our students to be able to be given more opportunity to be driven to school, especially in the wee hours of the morning when it's dark outside. And it increased our attendance as well by adding that in, and it achieved 500 students being able to be driven to school. And if I had the one thing that I would love to make even stronger and better is our security. I would love to make sure that our security team has more training, and that we have more in-house security guards that bring about a professionalism, a safety focus, and making sure that they understand the importance of being involved in treating the students fairly, respectfully, but also giving them a safe way to come and achieve help if needed, and also conducting structure on a day-to-day basis.
Thank you so much, Mr. Richardson. I appreciate it. And Ms. Hawanji, we're going to wrap up with you in terms of looking at family and community partnerships. And so one of the key questions that I think is really important, we know that schools are communities within themselves. How do we facilitate meaningful participation and partnerships among families, caregivers, community organizations, or even local businesses where they don't feel like they're being talked to, but talked with? And that's an important piece to share that.
I think it's very important as a community. Like I said, Freeport is a village. And basically, the African proverb says it takes a village to raise a child. So I think it's important that we look at that. It's very important as a person of multicultural, multi-language, it's important that you're able to communicate with basically the public. You have a lot of the stores. There's different programs available for these children. So it's very important to basically have mentorship program, have different after school program. I'm a firm believer not giving medication to someone, but also, there's art therapy, there's pet therapy, there's music therapy, and also gathering the people. I'm very spiritual. It's very important. There's different ways to gather people to work together in the community. So sometimes families need support. Sometimes they're stressed out. They need somebody to talk to. So we should have different forum in which we could meet together to give guidance. Also, I believe in Career Day, have more people with different technologies, different field to come and talk to these students. I've gone and talked to them about a career in the military. I've gone and talked to them about being a nurse. I've been talking to them about being a fireman. Like I said, my son is a fireman at the engine number 8. So it's very important to lead them. Also, right now, there's a big thing with robotic. There's a big thing with AI. So there should be more program to encourage these kids to seek different avenues. Some of the jobs who used to be there in the past are no longer available. So it's very important to have career function and also talk to the family, give them guidance so they might not know what the children want to do. But it's very important to have one-to-one with the family and with the staff.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hawanji. I appreciate it. Folks, you made it through round 2 to get through. We appreciate it. The last section before we get into it is community Q&A. If you have not done so yet, as a community who is watching here tonight, there is a Q&A button on the bottom of your Zoom, whether you're on your phone or there. If you have any questions, we did get some that were pre-submitted. So we're going to share that out. We're going to have everyone be able to answer this first question that I think is really key and important. And it's about communication, trust, and transparency. And I think that's an important topic that we need to talk through. And so one is, how would you, as a board member, help strengthen trust and communication among the Board of Ed, superintendent, family, staff, and a broader community, especially when the district is facing difficult decisions? I think we've seen a pattern throughout the last few years of things that have gone through where not everything is going to be easy. But how would you, as a board member, be able to take that on? We're going to start with Mr. Gordon. And that would be for a minute. Thank you, Donna.
Okay.
And if you see the timer on the right-hand side of your screen, that's also there. That's also with Ms. Raphael. So if not, we'll make sure we get you through.
Awesome. Well, leadership is about making tough decisions, right? Especially when it comes to the public. You have to have honesty, you have to have integrity, even when it's unpopular. But if the decision is educationally necessary, the community deserves transparency. Fact of the matter is facts are important. Communication is important, not confusion. I feel like that's a very, very important part when things are just not in a system. Also, I believe in listening. Being an athlete, I'm very coachable. I believe that you should be able to listen and separate the facts and decipher things so that you can make an educated decision. Also, explaining things clearly and always keeping students at the center of every single decision that we make. Accountability matters. I say this all the time. Accountability is not an option. If we expect students and staff to be accountable, then the board ourselves has to hold itself to the same exact standard, if not more. So we have to be transparent to parents. We have to be transparent to teachers. We have to be transparent to the community because we owe it to them.
Thank you, Mr. Gordon. Mr. Richardson, we're going to pass it over to you.
Yes, transparency first and foremost starts with truth and making sure that we follow the law. There are laws and certain things that we cannot publicly share. But at times when we want the truth to be told, we have to protect the student, the staff, the district, and the board and the community when we make these decisions. So first and foremost, we must seek our legal team to make sure that we don't put the district in a position to be sued or for anyone to be put in a bad light to where we're not being honest and upfront with making sure we teach our community, teach our parents, teach everyone in the stakeholders in the community the rules and regulations that we're governed by as a board member, to make sure that we have transparency, but follow the law while doing so.
Thank you very much, Mr. Richardson. I appreciate it. Ms. Castillo, we're going to pass it over to you.
Sure, thanks. So, while I think a board can never really guarantee a particular outcome or ever expect 100% satisfaction rate, right, from a community, it's territory that comes with leadership. However, I think what we can always guarantee a community is that there will be a clear decision-making process, and that process will always be done in good faith. I think that is what the community is asking. I think that communities will get frustrated whenever there is no clear process of engagement, when there is no clear protocols of how information is coming down, from staff all the way down to each family. So I think that being able to visualize that and coming up with clearer protocols, and one that are easy to follow, protocols even across the platforms that our district has that are friendly, user friendly rather. These are just simple ways that we can increase engagement, communication, and through those mechanisms also increase transparency.
Thank you so much, Gabby. Appreciate it. Dr. Skiffrey, same question in terms of how would you strengthen trust and communication, especially when making difficult decisions as a board member?
I think the first thing has to be education, educating the public on what the board can say and what we can't say. And that needs to be clear cut and concise across the board. And when people have questions, have them actually, have them articulate what the questions are and understand that, we can give you this information when we're able to. Ensuring that we seek legal counsel is top. We can't give information because we don't need the trouble. There's disruptions, and we don't want that. It also comes to ensuring that we have the belongingness and we come together as a village. It's important that we are a village and that we continue to maintain clarity and visibility. And for me, that's the way it should be run. I mean, we can't tell everything, and we can be as transparent as we can, but within the guidelines of the oath that we've taken.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Skiffrey. And last but certainly not, Ms. Hawanchi, after you.
Yeah. I'm looking at the whole situation. Being a healthcare person, we look at HIPAA. And also, when you go to the doctor, there's an informed consent. There's certain information that people cannot have on you unless you have given consent for that information. But the biggest challenge is rebuilding trust and connecting the district with families and the staff. When communication breaks down, it's hard to get the communication back again. So we have to create a structural opportunity. Sometimes people don't listen, so we have to be active listening as opposed to talk. Include community forum, school-based conversation, and looking at the different aspects. The community feel safe and they need to give support, but there's some things that are not discussed in public. You have to basically discuss. Currently, the situation that's happening in the school system, that basically is, if it's legal, then of course we have to seek legal counsel to get to the root of the problem. And I feel that everything should be handled in private and not out there in the news media.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hawanchi. So we have 2 more questions that we're going to quickly have. I appreciate everyone's grace for being able to extend a few minutes past because we did start few minutes late on our end to get through, so I appreciate that, and we'll make sure we're mindful of time. We're gonna do a quick question just by a show of hands on here. What is your position on the use of metal detectors in schools? That is a huge issue. That is in terms of that. So if you are in favor of it, can you just show by a raise of hands who is in favor, or is it within reason? I'm wondering where the hesitation is coming in. Let's see. Anybody that's here? Anybody not in favor?
Not in favor?
Not in favor.
Not in favor. Okay. All right.
Not in favor.
Not in favor.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's important because that was one of the key questions that was shared that I wanted to make sure we get that through. And in addition, we're going to end with one final question that was also shared with in regards to your experience, which would be a part of your closing statements today. What I think is really important to be able to talk about is what do you believe you bring to your role as the board member? What qualifies you to be on the board? I think they heard it during your opening statement, but I think it's important to re-emphasize that again as part of your closing. And so we will be able to do this in alphabetical order, if that is okay, to be able to start that off. So we're going to have you guys just do it for 1 minute and 30 seconds as well to be able to wrap up. So Gabby, we're going to start with you.
This is our closing.
That's our closing. Yes. Yeah.
So, I think that as any school board member currently serving, getting ready to serve, we need to understand that we are operating in very, very choppy waters, as I say, and where the landscape of public education is constantly changing and challenging us and our students in new ways. Whether we are looking at, unfunded mandates, whether we are looking at the defunding of public education as we know it, whether it is competing with charter schools for our public funds, whether it's, challenges coming from the federal government. These are constant challenging times for public education. And I think that any school board member has to be ready to address and meet those challenges head on. What I bring to the table, I think, is a keen awareness and knowledge and deep experience when it comes to policy and advocacy, which is a key role of a board, right? We are the ones that help shape the picture, the vision, the policy of an entire district. I not only have, been able to understand it and interpret policy, but I have developed it, I have researched it, I have drafted it. I do it every day in my line of work, whether it's drafting legislation, it is advising other elected officials in decisions that they will make that impact an entire county of over 1 million residents. My prior experience as a school board member brought with it also challenging times. I served during the COVID pandemic. It wasn't something that was just challenging Freeport, it was challenging our entire globe. And throughout that time, I was very proud of the initiatives and how we were able to push this district forward with access to technology, access to internet, usage for our families that did not count with that service, the distribution of food, not only throughout the school year, but through also the summer months. And we continued even when our children returned to school, right? These are all, initiatives and policy decisions that also go into equity. When we talk about education, we also have to talk about equity. Equity means also being able to make those decisions for our students every day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. We're going to pass it over to Mr. Happy, and make sure you take yourself off of mute.
Awesome. Well, I'm running for this. I'm not running for the school board for a title. I'm running because I love Freeport. I'm passionate about Freeport, and I believe in our children, my children, and the community's kids. And I know that we can do better together. Freeport helped shape me into the man I am today, from being an athlete to a father to a coach, being a mentor. I'm dedicated to life and the disciplines that come with it, with leadership, with uplifting people. Like, I understand what it means to fight through adversity. I've been doing it my whole entire life. I know how to work as a team. I stay accountable, and those that understand and know me know what I bring to the table as far as passion. I'm not gonna allow to fester. I'm gonna listen. I'm going to communicate. I'm going to be an ear for parents, for students, and I know for a fact, alongside Gabby Castillo, Mike Pomerico, we are committed to transparency, financial responsibility, and putting, this is the most important thing, I'm going to say this loud, putting the students first. And with putting the students first, also giving our teachers a good environment that they can teach our kids. Let them be comfortable doing their craft because they spend most of their time with our children. As a working father, I know that teachers need to be able to breathe and function properly. This is not about politics. This is about purpose, and this is about taking care of our kids because that's what the end all should be, is about our children. As a father of three that graduated and three more that's coming through the district, as well as myself, I know how amazing Freeport should, could, and will be. And I am willing to fight teeth and nail for this community, and everybody knows that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We're going to bring next of Miss Marie Huanche after you.
Okay. Well, I feel that my lifetime experience as a nurse, as a military personnel veteran, a multicultural, multi-language person, a resident of 40 years, graduating 5 children, 1 grant, and 1 right now at the public school. And as a nurse, we learn how to care for the person holistically. I want to care for Freeport holistically. That means mind, body, and soul. As a chaplain, I'm very involved in the spiritual world. We go to the different schools and pray in front of the school for what's going on. I've been in the United States Army for 20 years dealing with different illnesses, and I'm very involved with adolescents going through all kind of trial and tribulation. One of the key things, in my opinion, bullying, I'm not a person, I've been through it because of my language issues, being from another country. So I feel that I'm dedicated for the spiritual needs. I'm an advocate for families, youth. Also, I love to teach. I went back to teach at the different colleges that I basically study in. I went to BMCC, Medgar Evers, SUNY Downstate, and all those schools. I went back to teach in them. Being multilingual, when someone comes to a hospital, they have pain, they don't speak English anymore. They speak their own native language. So I feel very important as a multicultural person speaking different languages. I know some of the issues, and I want to be there for the parents, for the teachers, for the children. Like everybody's saying, children first, and that's why we are running for school board, for better education for our kids. Like I say, my kids are doing extremely well, and I want these kids who are going up here to do extremely well, especially with all this social media, all this AI and all this other stuff.
Thank you
so
so much.
we need to get them technology. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Okay, make sure we keep on time and make sure you get back to your busy schedules as well. Thank you so much. Mr. Richardson, we're going to pass it over to you, sir.
First and foremost, I want to make sure that everybody knows that I'm a son of Freeport. I've been a Freeport person all my life, and I bring about truth, trust, and transformation for this community. I've been a person in this community that served in every capacity when it comes to young people. I started an organization back in 2011 called the Freeport Red Ravens, where we became the feeder system for the Freeport School District, and making sure that all students have an academic program as well as have a sports program from football, cheerleading, track, lacrosse, basketball, and most of all the academic portion where we offer academic assistance in the district and in our program. I also am here to make sure that I advocate and uplift and empower and make sure that I do that for the students, the staff, the district, and the community and the board. I am here to make sure that I'm asking to be reelected mainly because I want to continue and move forward with all things for all students, for all involved in our district, so that we can be stellar as we've been being stellar, but we need to make things open for everyone so that we all can be able to work together for the betterment of everybody that's involved in our district. From the front door to the back door, we need to all be on one accord and make sure we do what's right because it's right. It has nothing to do with politics. It is doing right because it's right. Period. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Richardson. We appreciate it. And last but certainly not least, Dr. Dina Scriffrey.
I want to bring us back to what truly matters, and that's our children. It's our community, and it's really what shapes the future. I'm a professor, and I've written policy. I have written curriculum. I've spoken on many platforms on equity and justice. And more importantly, I understand what it takes and the demands of today's workforce and where our students deserve to be. We have to get it right for every student that walks through the classroom in Freeport public schools, not charter, public schools. We want to get it right for every parent that it's English non-English speaking, who's trusting the system to prepare their child for the next level where they deserve to be. I want to get it right for a community that deserves excellence and accountability. It requires work, it requires intention, it requires leadership, and leadership that understands equity, values belonging, commitment to raising the bar, never lowering it, and requires a community that operates like a village again. I need to bring it back to where we're a village again, where we lead with empathy, where we lead with purpose, where we lead with accountability. It's about looking at the curriculum, it's about looking at data, it's about identifying gaps. It's about addressing budgets. It's about looking at the responsibilities that we have as a person, as a parent, as a community leader. We can't get this wrong. We can't afford to get this wrong. So the decision that we make today will shape the opportunity for all the years to come. I just want to be there where a vision for Freeport stands strong and competitive amongst the best.
Thank you.
We want to be right up there with all the best.
Appreciate
Our children deserve that.
Thank you, Dr. Skiffrey. We appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
All right. And first and foremost, thank you so much to all of our board candidates this evening for taking the time out of all of your busy schedules. I know some of the sacrifices, the adjustments, the changes to get here, and all of you are out with canvassing. So we appreciate you all in order to get that through. I want to make sure that we're mindful of two things that were also asked in the Q&A that we make sure that we address. First and foremost, all of the candidates were invited to this forum. Those that are here were the ones that have confirmed in order to make sure that it's there. But again, as part of our work as a nonpartisan organization, we ensured that we extended that invitation out so that everybody is there, which was really key and important. The second piece as well is another question that was asked in regards to just making sure that we in regards to reducing the negative, divisive commentary that can be shared about our schools and communities. I think based upon what we hear tonight, I think that if all the board members here, whoever is elected, can commit to that opportunity to ensure that our students are centered first and that they're all leading with that charge, I think that is something that we could safely say that is there. And we hope we get that expectation out of all of you, whomever is elected. And as the NAACP chapter, that we'll continue to partner with all of you to advance that work forward. And so I want to be able to say on the behalf of all of us, thank you so much. We have two quick more information. If you could stay with us for 2 more minutes to be able to share as some quick reminders for some upcoming events that we happen as well. So give me 1 second. We're going to get this up here now on here. So number one, if you are looking for all things related to the elections, whether it's voting information, early ballot or absentee, or locations, take a picture of this. This will give you QR codes directly to the Freeport School District website, so that way it has all that information in real time. And as a reminder, Tuesday, May 19th, polls open. Make sure you come out to vote as part of the process. And if you are able here tonight, please join us tomorrow. Freeport Public Schools will be actually doing their budget presentation. The Zoom ID and passcode NAACP is available. We want you to make sure you stay informed and engaged as well, so they can learn more about the Freeport Public Schools budget, understanding key priorities, hear what the budget means for student families and residents, and ultimately join in the conversation. And if some of you are also from the Roosevelt community that you're hearing out on Thursday, we'll be having a hybrid version at Choice for All 55 Mansfield and Roosevelt, or there's a Zoom option as well. But on the behalf of all of us, Madam President, Donna Raphael, along with the whole entire chapter, we thank you all for committing your time, your energy this evening to be informed, to learn more about the work that we're doing, to ensure the fact that every child and every family is supported. On the behalf of us again, thank you all. Have a great rest of your evening.